Good morning, everybody. This is Judith A. Cope. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So I posted something on my YouTube channel yesterday, which I've turned back to Civil Theory CEO. But just Google or search inside of YouTube, Judith A. Cope, Civil Theory CEO, and it should show up. I still have faith in gasoline as a brand, but I wanted to focus less on caregiving, but this particular statement is going to be about caregiving. So one of my friends sent me this guy, he's a mortgage guy, and sent me his post on Instagram, and I recorded it and put it up on, I'm not stealing his content, at least I'm not trying to, but he wants followers, so go follow him. But one thing he put up is that the kids, so the family had put the house in a trust, but wherever they live, and I'm sure this might apply to most states, is after a year, if a child doesn't move into the home and make it their own, there's some sort of tax that comes with it. You know, it's like, I know people don't want to be caregivers in the first place. They just don't. It's not something you dream of, I can tell you that. And you wake up and you have all these responsibilities in addition to your own life and the responsibilities that come with your life. You have to look into your parents' situation, and it is very delicate, and it's a state-by-state thing. And you have to really pay attention to their property, you know, that classic car collection that you think you're going to inherit, or you've been coveting the car they promised to your brother. Listen, you might not get it. You might not get it, depending on the circumstances. If somebody in your family had to go on Medicaid, and it's quite possible, because what people don't seem to grasp is it's not really just a poor people problem. The prices for most home health care, you know, you're going to lose your money fast. If you have $350,000 and you feel good about, you know, your savings, and you've got life insurance, and you feel like you dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, just don't get sick then. Because if you or your spouse gets sick, then that money goes away fast. That might be, depending on how sick you are, that might be 2 to 3 years of care, $350,000 tops. Because some people will need 24-hour care. That's expensive. And in Medicaid, or if you go to a facility, that if you can't walk and you need that level of care to help bathe, move, talk, eat, that's easily $10,000 to $15,000 a month. A month. And, you know, a lot of people have done well. They've saved a couple $100,000 for their retirement. They've saved, you know, all this money. But if you get sick, you can watch it evaporate. So then you find yourself having to go into a facility. And some people are too sick to be on their own. They should be in a facility. And, you know, the longer you stay alive, the more money the government is pouring into you. And I don't know, do you see a scenario where this brand of government that we're in right now is empathetic to your healthcare costs? You know, the richest of the rich are in the government right now. And they don't even know how much this stuff costs because they have it in their banking accounts. You can't tell me that's not part of the reason why Nancy Pelosi did all that insider trading. Her and her husband are both old, and they know how much healthcare is, and they haven't done shit about it for you, but they made it better for themselves. And I am hard on Nancy Pelosi because people were proud of her. People thought she was this great, staunch Democrat and did all this great stuff for the people, but it turns out she was just patting her pockets. You know, she's the first person I think of, but she's by far not the only person who has been insider trading. A lot of them do it. I'm not going to say all, but a lot of them. And there are these places that have been following along and watching their portfolios, and members of Congress are making money hand over fist. That's part of the committees they pick to be a part of. It's something. It really is. It's shameful. But I'm telling you, the average person, you need to understand all the nuances or all these things you think you're going to get. You're not even going to come close to inheriting, and you're going to be in probate court, which means you have to hire an attorney and go to court to get what's yours, to get what your parents wanted you to have. You know, so it's stressful, but you got to stay on top of it. So when you approach caregiving, you got to have three things in mind: the actual care of the people or person. Their finances is coming in at number two, because whatever they do have or don't have, depending on how sick they are, how long they live, if you have to put them on Medicaid, which I'm trying to let you know is not like, we're not poor, we won't go on Medicaid. Yeah, you'll be really poor paying medical expenses very fast out of savings. And then the third thing I would suggest, so it's got to be you deciding you want to take care of the person and what that looks like. Secondly is finances. And third, your mental health. Because it's going to be super hard. You know, you got to leave enough runway to mourn somebody that you love, but you also have to have energy for you and your family, and you also have to, take breaks and have mental health days, because this is hard, and no one teaches you how to be a good caregiver, and no one talks about it. I can't tell you the number of people when I mentioned I was taking care of my mom that they were like, "Oh yeah, I've done that. Oh yeah, I'm doing that too." Like, but they won't say a word. It's like this shame, like, this thing that no one wants to talk about. It's very strange. But there's over 50 million people doing that exact same thing in the United States alone. So for all this stuff that they're talking about and all these countries they're taking over and all this whatever, I don't know what any of that means really. I don't know. Am I prepared to say Trump is crazy? I don't know. He's clearly unstable. And whoever is putting him up to all of this stuff has an agenda. And I think he only cares about money. So he'll do it. Whatever it is. I'm sure he is in cognitive decline because he has a terrible diet and he's of the age that cognitive decline is real. So I don't know. But I do know this, that there are a lot of people that are going to suffer because they haven't been paying attention. And listen, everybody wants to blame Trump for all of these problems. They're not going to be his fault. There's been a constant erosion of care for American citizens by the U.S. government, maybe for the last 50 years. I mean, certainly by Reagan. It was obvious that he just felt everybody could pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And if you didn't have boots, that was your first mission. Go get some boots. And then pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And we'll do fine up here and everything will trickle down on you. When you have a prosperous society, everything trickles down. Well, no one takes care of their family on a trickle. And you didn't tell us the trickle was pee. Thanks. Listen, I'm not suggesting any of this is easy. It's not. It's hard. All of this is hard. And the greatest hoax played on Americans is if you follow this simple formula, your life's not going to be hard. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with America. If you watch a weather forecast, oh man, it's raining. Oh man, it's cold and it's wintertime. You're like, what the fuck? Of course it's cold in winter if you live in a place that has winter like I do. And they're like, ho hum, it's gonna be cold for the next couple. Okay, motherfucker, yeah, that's how it works. Winter is cold, and it's like Americans just expect everything to be, sunny and fun or something. That's all propaganda. Give me a cold winter. My thing is, don't be hot one day and cold the next. I was freezing my tail off yesterday. Talk about something I didn't want to do. I did not want to go outside, but I had to. But it is what it is. And I want to move to Toronto, right? But you got to understand, The vision of me in Toronto is like, I don't have to go anywhere until I want to. That's part of being in Toronto for me. But back to what I'm saying. Americans expect everything to be great. Oh, bummer, it's raining. Oh, tell us it's going to stop raining. It'll stop soon, but yeah, today is going to be rainy. And it's like, what? Of course. It's okay. There are no flowers without rain. And then they'll come on late in the summer and be like, we haven't had any rain. It's a drought. Okay, motherfucker, you was just saying how bad it was that we was having rain. Like, y'all don't know what you want. I really hate the news. I don't watch any of it, but I really hate the weather forecast. And it sets Americans up to have these super weird attitudes about everything. If we're not complaining about something, it's weird for us. It's like, you need rain, you need snow, you need all of these things so Mother Nature can balance herself out. So our grass will turn green, so we will have enough water. I don't understand why it can't be presented like that. And so when you take that weird, oh boy, into the world, you see some weird shit. Like, people just expect everything to be perfect and happy and cheerful. And we have a bunch of things that aren't. And caregiving is one of them. You're going to look at your parents, if you're of a certain age, within the next 5-10 years, and they're going to be diminished. They're not going to be able to do what they used to do. They're not going to remember what you just said. They're going to be hurting. They're going to be hiding all this pain from you. It's part of aging in America, because they don't really give you anything preventive. They do a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of pills for when you start to break down in your 40s and 50s. And that's all they do for you. You get a bunch of pills. They don't expect you to be able to change your diet, start exercising, building muscle mass, working out. And I'm not saying you're going to ever look like, a 25-year-old with chiseled abs, but you can work out, you can go for a walk, you can lift some weights, you can do meaningful things every day to keep yourself in some kind of shape. But instead, they rather hand you a pill. And they've been doing that for your parent for however many years. And then they'll arrive into their 70s and 80s with some very serious illnesses. Because they never were encouraged to change their lives. They were just encouraged to take some pills. So you have to figure these things out when you look at your family and look at yourself. Do you want to be diminished? Do you want to be in decline? And then you got only white men would want to live forever. Like, you got all these white men who are like, I want to live forever. I want to live to 140. I want to live to 200 years old. Okay. Well, obviously your life has been so great that you want to live forever. That's on you. Good for you. That's white privilege if I've ever heard it. But for many of us who aren't millionaires, who can't fly to islands and get, shots of whatever we need to make us young. We can't go buy 1,000 or 1,000,000 stem cells. We have to count on old-fashioned. And I'll be honest, old-fashioned technology, like changing your diet and walking. I don't want to live forever. There's nothing about this planet that's great enough for me, in my experience, to live forever. I am not suicidal. I'm not sad. But when my ticket gets punched, I'll be okay with that. I haven't seen or talked to my dad in years, and I miss him. But I am not suicidal, and I'm not going to rush the process. I'm here on God's timing, and I have a mission from God. But I'm going to tell you something. Some of these people sound nuts. And if you think about it, we are in the throes of Revenge of the Nerds. It's all these crazy white dudes who just think they can control everybody. I think there is a subjugation gene, and it is here on display with these nerdy tech people, But that's a podcast for another day. I'm trying to manage your expectations. You will probably be a caregiver. Learn to love it. And it humbles you, and it makes you a better human being. I am a completely different person than when I started. And I thank God for that. Because it gave me a chance to not only care for my mom, but care for her well. And it taught me a ton about fortitude and patience. And if you really love somebody, because I'm not sure you don't, I'm not sure you really love somebody if you've never had to wipe their ass. And I'm not talking about your baby. I'm talking about when your baby is grown. And yeah, cleaning people off and care. That's how you know someone really cares for you. And I can tell you right now, there are a lot of men who can't do that and wouldn't do that. They would not care for you. So you need to look at your life and be like, did I marry the right person? For real. All right. That's a lot. Take it in. Enjoy the stay. If you like the podcast, go ahead and like and subscribe and share. If you haven't given us a review, smash those 5 stars for us. Spotify, give us a follow. Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give us 5 stars. Subscribe. I appreciate all of the support. And if you find value in this content today, sign up for Refuel. The link should be in the bio of the show, but it's Refuel by Beehive, Refuel by Faith and Gasoline at beehive.net. Go ahead and sign up. Subscribe. It's free. And it's the best resource around this topic that you'll find. And I promise you that. It's the result of me being up in the middle of the night doing Google searches and actually living this experience. So you can't beat that with a bat. Take care.